Just like we both said, and Steve, I'm sure feels the same way. We're all thrilled about being here in Belarus. This is a country that is not on the radar for most people because it's not really broadcast anywhere around the world. It's like when we had the Minsk agreements here, everybody was thinking, well, Minsk, where is that? And it's unknown, but it's like the 10th largest city in Europe. And what is it? Even Frankfurt or Hamburg. There's only one city in Germany that's larger than Minsk. So that's just some, there's a lot of facts that you're going to hear about Belarus when you're watching our show. So, um, you got to stay tuned and hear about it. What about the beautiful women? What do you guys think? What do you think about all these nice girls around here?
Eastern Europe's got a lot of beautiful women. Belarus is no exception.
Yeah, a lot of men come here for that. And I've even heard people on the other side over there, they're saying, hey, I want to get in contact with you. And, I need a wife.
A lot of guys over there looking to get away from that sort of thing. Another hot option was Ukraine, but unfortunately that's kind of teetered out because of the whole conflict thing.
Yeah. Well, there's some people, they talk about Ukraine. There's some kind of stigma. Oh, they're a bunch of crazy people. That was even before the conflict. But I don't know. They have that ideology that's grown up there, and it was like around World War II, and it was fizzled out. And then, of course, our government, yours and mine, they were kind of reviving that quite a few years ago, and now we have what we have.
Yeah, it's a pretty dark situation. I know some Ukrainians. I know a guy who's ethnically a Russian. He was born in Latvia, actually, though, back when it was the Soviet Union. His parents are both Russian, and they moved to Australia, actually, a few years after he was born. And he and I became friends, and he ended up marrying a Ukrainian girl. And yeah, I mean, he's aware of a lot of things, but he's very emotional about the whole thing and everything. Because even though they don't live in Ukraine, they're living in Mexico. But I probably shouldn't be talking about him because he doesn't like me if I mention him. But I'm not going to name his name or anything. But because he has a YouTube channel too. Anyway, but yeah, it's a bad situation down there. I mean, and there's some other Ukrainians that I speak with that are very, a lot of them aren't even in the country right now. They're just avoiding it, but they still have, houses and family there. So it's a nasty thing.
And Jake, why did you come here to Belarus?
Well, I was looking around for some place to live, and I because where I was living in the Caribbean before this. Of course, I'm originally from the United States. I lived 20 years in Germany as well. I was in the U.S. Army for 7 years, and then I went to the Caribbean. Great weather. I farmed coffee there, and I was a dental technician as well. I learned dental technician work in Germany, but they had this coup coming up, and from I guess the end of 2019, and that country was going crazy there, and they're trying to get everybody to get the jab in their shoulder, and I've got a family history of blood clots, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of stupid if I put something in my arm that causes blood clots. So, and they were firing everybody from their jobs, and then they were threatening to say you can't go into a grocery store unless you got you got the jab, and and pretty soon you wouldn't be able to fly. I thought, it was before this Omicron came about, and of course Omicron saved humanity, but I was getting out of there at that time, and I was looking around to different countries, and it looked like Belarus was the best bet. And I was trying to compare all different kinds of things, prices and government and all sorts of things, freedom, mostly freedom. And it would be shocking to most people to find out that actually there's probably more freedom in Belarus than most any other country in the world. And it's like, what? We're told the opposite, but what we're all about here on this show is to prove that those things are a lot of lies. It's not like the United States government has ever lied to anybody, right?
Never.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Steve, why did you come? How long have you been here?
Oh gosh, I've been here probably about 5.5 years now. Now, the first time I came here was back in March 2018, and the first time I was here, I spent 10 months, and then I went back to the U.S. for about 6 or 7 months. And I came back here for 3 months, and then I had to go back to the U.S. again, unfortunately, because my father passed. And I was back in the U.S. then again for almost an entire year, and that's when the whole COVID thing actually started up. But I came back. I came here basically because, as we already, a lot of the reasons that we already mentioned with Duke, but cost of living came into play with me. The politics definitely came into play with me. Not so much necessarily freedom, but just looking for somewhere that was more kind of not so aligned with what the U.S. is doing. And then also the women, definitely a big part of it. Unfortunately, the one thing I didn't come here for that just happens to be the way it is the weather,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's exactly the same. It's literally like I went to the other side of the planet, and the weather is exactly the same as upstate New York, almost down to like the temperatures from day to day. It might be like slightly colder here than upstate New York, but it's minuscule, really, the difference between the weather there and here.
Yeah. Actually, I lived in Alaska in Anchorage for 3 years as well. It got very cold there, -40.
This is nothing to you, then.
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Northern Territory in Darwin, where it's +30 all the time Celsius.
Yeah, well, when I lived in Texas too for about 4.5 years, and down in the Rio Grande Valley in Texas. I don't know if you know where that is, Brownsville. You know where Elon Musk is launching off these rockets from?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I lived like about 20 miles from there, and that place is like subtropical slash kind of desert, because if you go like an hour inland towards like in the direction of Laredo, it starts very quickly turning into like a desert. And then if you go towards the coast, it becomes more like subtropical and humid. But that place, from like April until early October, it's 38 plus, pretty much 38 to 41 degrees Celsius. So you're looking at 99, 100 degrees plus all summer long. Yeah. And then even at the time coming from upstate New York, I was like, oh, I'm going to love it because it's, going to be warm. I always wanted to get away from the snow. And it is nice for the first few months. I mean, even the heat, it didn't bother me. Some people down there say they hate the heat and stuff. They want to get out of it. And yeah, you just don't spend like huge amounts of time outside in the summer. You got to get into the air conditioning. But I mean, it is nice to be able to walk outside pretty much any time of the year without having to bundle up inside of like basically a garbage bag stuffed with polyester, which is like a jacket, you got to wear out in the cold around here. But you get that, and then you get the really negative thing I noticed was that you get friggin' giant insects, like cockroaches the size of mice, like literally, yeah, that are all over the place in South Texas. They don't even call them cockroaches down, they call them palmetto bugs, and they're all over the place.
Yeah, same as in Australia.
Yeah.
I came to Belarus the first time in 2008.
Oh, you've been here. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, well, we've been living in London, so we've been coming here summer, and because I'm married, obviously, to Belarusian, and I've been coming here summer and Christmas every year. And then finally, as London and England's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, we decided to leave, and now we're here full time.
Saw the writing on the wall, see where it's going.
Well, if things were getting worse, you couldn't say stuff. Well, you can't say stuff, police come around because you say a man's a woman, a woman's a man, that sort of thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like you call it a revolution. Things, way back in the old days here, the pre-Soviet times or during the Soviet times, everybody would say, oh, well, at least we got, indoctrinated in the West, hearing how bad it was or something over here. I came here in 2001 the first time, but I was here for a few weeks. And then I came in 2007. And it's kind of like, and then I came in like this last time was in 2021 at the end, December. I've almost been here 2 years. It'll be 2 years in December. And it's like, what a transformation. This place is just getting better and better. And and back in 2001, you couldn't even go into just a regular place to, buy food and get fresh vegetables and all that. Everybody was canning food and things like that. You had to go to some special store in Minsk if you wanted like lettuce or something like that. And now it's in abundance. And then you start to look over in the West, and things are getting scarce over there.
Yeah. No,
it's just a revolution.
And the food in the West is not tasteless, plastic. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, even a lot of GMO. And here,
there's no GMO in a lot of stuff here. They made laws against it in Russia.
Well, yeah, but I think the thing is you get some Western foods coming here, and it's against the law to tell people that it's GMO over in those countries. So you don't know what you're getting. So, you'd be better off probably trying to get this farmer stuff here from the Belarusians.
Yeah, I eat a lot of the local fruit and vegetables when I can get, especially in the summer. Family loves it. We eat it all. But
Yeah.
yeah, about what was going on over in the UK and Western Europe too. It definitely, it's startling how much everything is accelerating. And I'm not like bragging or anything, but these are things like I kind of realized, came to a full realization about what was going to happen probably about 2016.
Hmm.
As I already kind of decided I wanted to leave in 2013, 2014 because of some things I had. That happened to me with the federal government, which is a whole nother thing I could talk about some other time. Very long thing. But I kind of figured out that the political establishment in the United States and the West was pushing a clear agenda forward, and they didn't seem to be slowing down. In fact, they seem to be doubling down on it.
Yeah.
And based upon human history, I kind of figured out that generally this is going to lead to a very bad place here. And even though this place was a great place at one time to live, it's headed down a very bad path that it's going to take it on a decline. And I thought it would be relatively slow. I thought it would maybe be over the next 15 to 30, 40 years that it would like start to really, really get bad near the end. But just in the past 5 years, it is wild the stuff that is rapidly transforming the place over there.
You ever heard that expression? Slowly at first and then all at once.
Yeah.
Well, that's, everything really seems to happen that way, and it's like accelerating in the United States. The decline and the
Well, since 2020, it's been accelerating rapidly.
Since
Yeah.
the whole the coup came about, I think that was maybe sort of a opportunistic thing. It's like 9/11.
some
when that
people say a
happens.
test, but I don't know.
Some people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange thing, and I would have a theories. I can have multiple theories on what the heck happened there, but all I know is that it's bad. I kind of feel sorry for all those people that are still over there, and of course, we should be lucky here that we came to a place like Belarus over here. It's and I also feel sorry for a lot of these Belarusian people because they're still they indoctrinated them here. I'm not saying the Belarusians did, but it was from the West, and I think Poland even admits they indoctrinated Belarusians. So you hear a lot of these Belarusians, and it's like it shocks you, and it shocks Dave, and it shocks everybody that's from foreign countries that come here. And you listen to these Belarusians, and they're thinking like the land of milk and honey is over there, and they want to go to the United States. And it's like you can sit there and tell them, no, it's not what you think it is. It's not like it was maybe 30 or 40 years ago. And they don't believe you.
And they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
It's mostly the younger ones I've noticed because I went to the university too when I was here first. That was the first how I got here was to get the student visa, and then I wanted to learn Russian, so I was spending a lot of time at the university the first 10 months I was here and studying it. And I got invited to these English language groups, which is basically the opposite of what I was doing. These were Belarusians who were trying to learn English, so I would go to these hangouts with them, these like coffee shop meetings, and we just talk, and they would let me talk about anything. And sometimes we get into politics and stuff. And it was a lot of Belarusian girls, and they would be, basically not much. Some of them not much different than American girls, except for they look better in the sense that a lot of their views are similar. And I'm like, oh god, this is the stuff leaking in. I'm like, it's. But you do know, I do find over here some they're very, very aware and very, very
intelligent.
Kind of get it. Yeah, they understand what's going on and they are against it. And whereas it's a lot harder to find over in the U.S. as somebody who kind of sees the whole thing that's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, we all find like I said, it just kind of, I mean, you find intelligent people and they think that it's so much better over there. And then well, some people, they listen to you, and a lot of people will just basically get angry at you and they don't want to see you again. But at least, they listen to us because we're from over there. But I've seen some other Americans and Canadians and even some Belarusians that have been over there. And then there's some of them, they go over there and they like fail and they lose all their money. They find their way back to Belarus, and some, they even want to go back. And it's like, well, why would you want to do that again? And it's like they make a lot of money in Belarus. This is a really strange thing. They make their money in Belarus, they make good money, and then they go over in the United States and they lose all their money, and then they come back again. So it's like, isn't it supposed to be working the other way around?
Yeah.
But it's not. I can show you people that will tell you about other people that have gone over there and lost what they got in Belarus. Even though you don't earn a lot in Belarus, but the thing is in Belarus, the costs are way down. Like if you own an apartment, you guys both know. If you own an apartment in Germany, I remember this was just a couple of years ago, and say you own it, and this is a small town that most people have never heard of, not really small, say about 70,000 maximum.
medium-sized town. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
medium
to the
size.
city level yet, though.
Yeah, well, maybe it's like a decent sized town in Belarus, say. You
Oh
know,
yeah, that's a small city in Belarus.
yeah, yeah. So it's a, but like, anyway, it's a good sized town. But you have an apartment there. Say you buy the apartment, and because I was looking at this sort of thing, and your house geld, what you have to pay to stay. I don't know what it includes. It's definitely your heating. It's not your electricity, and it's not your water, but it's your heating and maintenance costs and all that. And that was like 250 euros a month. And it's like thinking, well, gosh, I can rent a place for 300 euros a month. And then if I don't like it at some point in time or whatever, I can move. So why would I want to be stuck somewhere, pay 250 a month? And that doesn't include, like I said, all the other, the other bills, like if you want television and all that sort of thing. And over here in Belarus, it's what, I don't know, maybe 50 or $60 average a month after when you own in a place. And that includes
for
everything.
the fees, yeah.
Yeah, that includes everything. You got including cable TV and internet and and your water and your electricity and your heating bills. I mean, it's like you tell people like that in the West, they won't even believe you.
Yeah.
Your heating bill is higher than that in Germany.
Well, the internet here,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
internet in the studio, we've got 1 gig up and down. It's only $15 a month. That's it. It's nothing.
Yeah. But some things are a little more expensive. You want some like electronics, but it's not so expensive. When I was in the Caribbean, you had to pay a really good penny for everything. Everything comes from the U.S. It got to be shipped in,
Yeah.
and duties are 60%. And if you want a car, it's 150% duty, 150%. So you buy it again and a half if you want a car. So
So if you bought like a $15,000 car, you end up spending like what?
45,000 or something.
Yeah, about
That's for just duty.
38,000 on it.
Yeah, and then it's not even that. Even when you do spend some money, a lot of time they inspect it and they say, well, it's more than that. It's worth more than that. So you're going to have to pay more duty than what you actually paid, even if you have a sales slip or something. Unless you're a big politician, of course, then you don't have to pay that. You get a discount, probably.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. In the summer, we're paying, I have a 65 square meter place we're living in right now. And we're paying, it's like, 2 big rooms and the kitchen and everything. It's less than $50 for everything in the summer a month for all the apartment fees, the elevator maintenance, the trash pickup, all that. And then the stuff that goes to the building manager and the maintenance people.
Mhm.
And then the heat, well, there's no heat in the summer, but electricity, internet, all that stuff, water. And then in the winter, it's under 70. So,
Yeah, well, the summertime, we paid even less. I don't know. We paid like, maybe it worked out to be about, to believe it or not, you guys are sitting. Okay, good. Well, it's like about $15 a month.
nice.
And petrol or gasoline as well. We fill up a 60-liter tank in our car, and it's only $55 US, and that's it.
It's
Boy,
not bad.
are they listening to this in
big tank.
Canada? I hear people crying their eyes out in Canada. Boy, when they hear that, because those people are really getting screwed over. You got old buddy Justin Trudeau over there, and his government. I mean, we don't even want to mention that guy. But I'll tell you what, they're crying over there. They make thousands of dollars, and they can't save anything from that.
Well,
That's
their
just what
petrol
it is.
should be heavily subsidized because they're producing so much, but they're too busy selling it to the U.S. and selling it to everybody, so they're getting the market rate basically. But a lot of the oil here and the gas is coming from Russia, which were contracts made years and years and years ago that Russia, because of their strong alliance with Belarus, decided to maintain those same price levels in those contracts, even though the world oil and gas markets have gone up considerably. So, and then also the Belarusian government does subsidize the energy costs for their citizens.
Have you also noticed, no matter where you go in Belarus, it's exactly the same price?
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of times that way.
You go anywhere in the plane, it's exactly the same price.
I don't
a
drive
lot
here,
of things
so-
are like that.
Okay.
Like milk. I was, getting some milk, and then I go to some other place. I said, "That's the same price as that other store over there." Some things are different prices.
Standardized.
I can't remember what, but it's. But a lot of things are
Food.
I think there's certain things and that are the same price. Maybe they say they have to charge the same amount, like flour or whatever. I don't know. But even even the costs like gasoline and all that sort of stuff. And then you have these people, like I said, they had this little, what do you call it, disturbance revolution thing in 2020. And yeah, and it's what, and it's mind boggling. You start, I don't even know really what convinced these people to do that. Like that they're told that they have it so bad in Belarus. And I met an American. I only talked to him for like 1 or 2 minutes on the subway, and he's like a doctor over here. And he said, yeah, Belarusians, they need to get out more. He says they don't know what it's like in the other countries over there. And it's just incredible. They, like I said, they think it's like milk and honey over there.
The Western propaganda machine is the best that's probably ever existed in human history at promoting its own self-interest, and not only to its own people who are also heavily brainwashed inside the United States, but also to the population of the entire world. And they played up this American golden dream crap for the last like 200 years, and it has flown overseas, and it still is even right now as the place is kind of going in the opposite direction.
You see the size of this apartment where the studio is, right?
Yeah.
In London, to buy that is over £1 million.
I'm not surprised. Same thing in Manhattan, same in New York City.
Yeah, New York, yeah.
Well, our apartment that I'm living in is about the same size as yours. I think it's 64 square meters, and that was, I think, around 70,000 US in a city right near the metro. I mean, very close to the metro. We got a big park right next door, and yeah,
that's what's good. That's what's good about this place is there's parks everywhere, and between the buildings, there's a lot of stuff for families.
Yeah, this particular area right here that we are in right now in Minsk is a good area. That's why I ended up purchasing an apartment right up the road here, because my girlfriend was skeptical about it when I started looking around to purchase a place, because this place, she was concerned about the quality and stuff, because I guess the company or whatever. But I'll tell you, when I came here to look at it in person and go through the area, and it was in the middle of the winter, just like right now, and we were walking around, she was complaining because it was freezing, and I'm like, I got to see this place though. It looks to me like it's not all, it wasn't back, this is back like 3 years ago. It wasn't even like half of what's here right now. But I was like, this looks like it has potential right here. The Way building was finished over there, and I was like, that's impressive. And then the quarter where I'm in, which is the Champions Quarter, was only like half finished, and I could just see that this was going to be a great place. They had lots of playgrounds and walking areas and stuff, and a lot of store space was going to be there. And then they're building that giant mall over there too.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the biggest one in Belarus. Yeah. And the subway station.
Yeah, it's
close
right
to
over.
it. Yeah, that's supposed to be finished summer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to open up in the spring, maybe summer.
What, right near here somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. That's too long of a walk, I think.
Where'd you come from? Klava Slobodaya or whatever station?
Yeah, that's something Slava or
that's
Slobodaya.
That's right where I'm living right now. So actually, I can walk back with you when we leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I live like literally 2 minutes walk from where that station is.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, because I was thinking, I don't think you could get an 85 square meter place here. I think all of these are smaller, I think.
Inside the Minsk World area?
Yeah, I think so.
No, you got to go you got to look, and there are, especially the ones on the top floors. The one I got is on the 25th floor in the Beijing building. It's actually 2 floors.
25th floor? So you're
24th
in a huge building.
Wow. I got 2 floors in my apartment. Wow. Not right now. Well, I own it right now, but I haven't renovated it, so we're not living there. But yeah, it's 135 square meters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I got a rooftop terrace.
Maybe on the next show, if you can, bring a video and we'll put it up and people can have a look.
Oh, yeah. I think I posted it in
125
our Telegram chat.
Square meters.
No, 135.
100. Well, whatever. Anything over 100, that's a big apartment.
Yeah. Well, I had I had the assets at the time, and I had a good price on it. I paid, should I mention the price? Is it a problem? It was like 710 euros per square meter, I think it was at the time.
I can't remember what I paid per square meter.
So, I mean, that was the way they would price it. And I was looking at that. They wanted to try to talk me into like one that was 75 square meters, because they were like, I was fighting to get this particular apartment. And they were like, well, we have this other one. It's around the same price. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like 1/3 less size, and you're going to charge me more per square meter. And I'm like, that's why it's about around the same price, because you're charging more per square meter. So I was like, no, I want this one at that price. And really, though, it is tough to sell those bigger apartments, though, because even though they'll give you a great deal on the price per square meter, there aren't the number of people who can get that sort of level of housing in Belarus. That you'll spend 6+ figures on an apartment. Locals, not too many competition. Yeah. So that's why I was able to get a good deal like that. I mean, you will see when I was looking around, there are a handful of $1 million apartments around this city, but they're very, very few and very far between.
Well, I'm always amazed anyway. Like when I go around on my YouTube channel, even it's like sometimes I'm tempted. I want to show these people all these cars, these BMWs,
Oh yeah,
Mercedes, and all kinds of things like that, all over the place. And I'm thinking, it's far, far, far different than when I was here in 2001. It's just incredible. You see some kind of a new car, and it's like a nice new car, then it's like, oh wow, cool. Look at, oh, there's a rich guy, and now they're all over the place here. So
I know. For a country that has supposedly a $550 a month average income, you see a lot of
yeah,
Mercedes and BMWs around here.
it just makes you wonder, what the heck is going on? There's just some people getting snowed, you know.
Well, and all the shops as well. There's all these shops everywhere selling stuff, and it's just like people must be buying stuff, like
Yeah,
these diamond places and all that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
they're still
lots of
open.
jewelry things at
Yeah.
all the malls. I mean,
you don't see many people dressed very badly around here. Of
no.
course, you do get the occasional drunks on the street and stuff, but
Half the young women look
the
like fashion
women,
models, of
yeah,
course.
half the women are, they go over to America and like all these guys be looking at them like they're like supermodels practically.
Mhm.
I mean, when they're just really basically average over here.
Average girls here.
Typical girl
Yeah, I
here.
see these women, and I'm sitting
Yeah.
there thinking that must be some famous woman or something. But they're all over here.
Yeah, no, well, there's a bunch down in Hungary and over even in the Baltic countries. The women there are pretty good looking, but definitely this place is one of the top two.
Well,
So that would-
one thing that I have to mention,
Interesting.
and it's not like I'm not any LGBT type of guy, but anyhow, but the men here, I don't know about looks because I'm not going to be judging, but the men are they can do everything. They repair cars, they can build things, and they're not like in a lot of places where I've been. A lot of men get like a tomcat or something, and they want to fight easy, and they want to, in the United States, there's a lot of people like that, and they want to show how tough they are. But you see these big guys here. I've seen these huge guys. They look like they wouldn't have any education. They look, like big gorilla guys. And then you find out there's some kind of like architects and doctors and things like that.
Yeah.
I say, well, that guy doesn't look like he would be like that. He looks like some guy would be fullback for the Dallas Cowboys or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of people here have got degrees and all that sort of thing as well.
I think they have they have one of the highest literacy rates in the world too, and they have one of the highest. I don't want to mess up the word for it.
Schools all
higher
over the place.
education. Yeah,
There's
levels.
university. How many universities do they have here? I mean, everywhere you turn, there's universities all over in Minsk and all that.
Downtown's covered with them, and a lot of the city in general. But yeah, they have one of the highest secondary education rates in the world, university graduation rates in the world in general, but also in Europe too. And that's something they've taken pride in. I guess it's a kind of a carryover from the Soviet Union, where you get everybody to learn to read, and you get everybody some sort of education, that they can use.
And what most people don't know is at high school and that they do 6 days a week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Monday to Saturday, yeah.
Mm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son's not going to like that.
Yeah.
My dad used to say stuff like that about what was going on in China back in growing up in the 80s and 90s and stuff. He'd be like, oh, they're studying 6 days a week in China and they have to go to school for like 10 hours a day and something like that. I don't know. Maybe, I'm living here though. What does that mean? But yeah, they definitely push, math and, get them up to par with math. And they have a very strict regimen. They want them to be like performing at certain levels by certain ages and stuff. I noticed that.
Well, if you talk to a lot of people, like say, wives or something like that, and then they know, like they listen to some piece of music and they know the composer and who that is, and they can name all the poets and all this sort of, and then like engineering, some of them still know the formulas of certain, how to figure all this stuff out. And I'm thinking, well, I never got any education like that. I probably screwed around too much in school too, a little bit, and paid for it when I went to the university. It's not like you can really catch up, but you learn a little bit as you go, to fill in the blanks or something, and I got good grades, of course, but I had to really work at it, put a lot of time into it because I screwed around too much, I think, in my younger days.